Hi, LinkedIn and Facebook. Welcome to another SaaS on the Streets. We are live from our New York studios, and today we've got a fantastic show lined up. We're going to talk to the guy who has built the biggest, most successful online community for software as a service people worldwide. It's at 22,000 people and counting. His name's Aaron Krall, and he's going to join me here in the New York studios, live from Salt Lake City in just a moment. So we are really looking forward to today's session, live from New York, in just 30 seconds. Wow, I don't know what happened there, but welcome, Aaron.
Hey, we made it through. We're here.
I made the decision to run this off my old MacBook because my new MacBook is in the shop. And I just now have remembered what I decided to do was to run it off an iPad Pro, but I didn't quite get that all sorted out. It's 6 o'clock in the morning here. Now, I noticed that over there in Salt Lake City, you're in the yellow frame, and I'm in the red frame. I should jump over to your side, because then I match. And then we've got to put your name up. There we hang on, we've switched back. I'll jump back over to that side. There we go. There we go. You're red, I'm yellow.
Awesome. There we go.
Yeah, there's no blue on this set. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. It's great to see you. Great. Thanks for being on the show. Really excited. One of the things that amazes me is what's out there when you start looking. And when I started searching for SaaS communities on Facebook, first time I'd ever done it was only about 6 weeks ago. And I thought, what's taking me so long to actually go into Facebook and put that into the search bar? And your group came up immediately as kind of the one to be in, just by the sheer volume. So how did that all come about?
So 6 years ago, I didn't even know what SaaS was. No clue. I was in a marketing agency. I was doing just one-on-one work for clients, mostly video production and video Facebook ads, and for just any client that would want it. And I sold that off because I was frankly tired of solving thousands of different problems for thousands of different people. I was just overwhelmed, couldn't scale. So I decided, took a few months off and decided what market could I serve the best. And I had a few mentors at the time, and one of them suggested SaaS. So I looked into it. I couldn't find any really good groups. And he suggested, hey, why don't you start a group for SaaS founders? And I was like, cool, I think I can do that. So I went into Facebook, clicked on new group, uploaded some picture. And then I found some list online of 10,000 SaaS founders that you could just buy. I think it was like I don't even remember how much it was, but I bought this list, right? And then I opened up reply.io and I just put in all of their emails and I just started inviting people to the group. I was like, hey, I'm starting a new group. Here's what you're going to get out of it. It's going to be really great. Would love to have you join. And I just sent out thousands and thousands of emails and slowly and slowly started growing. And then it started getting, where it really started to pick up was when people started to recommend the group in their articles,
Right.
and recommend the group, and that's when it really started to blow up. So it's been going for about 4 years now. We probably add, I don't know, a couple hundred members a week to the community. We reject a lot of applications, so I think that's part of the
Right.
reason the group is so quality is we probably reject 50-60% of applications that come into the group. So we only let in good quality people, and yeah, now it's at 22,000 people. Incredible.
22,000 high quality people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you actually will kind of, like, if they put a reference link of a company they've founded or something, someone will go through and check that and make sure that everything's good.
You want me to put that in the chat?
Sorry, put what in the chat?
Did you say you want to put a link to the group? Is that what you said?
Oh, no, the chat, you can do, yeah. But no, I said when somebody's applying, if they put the company that they're from, you'll actually go and check that company out. And
oh, yeah. So we actually, so a lot of people don't have a SaaS yet, so, and we let them in, but we ask 3 specific questions, and if, first of all, if they don't answer any of the questions, or if they answer them with like, sure dude, sure dude, sure dude, for all like 3 questions, or if, you know, their web address is abrahamlincoln.com or whatever, we just like, we just delete them. Like, sorry man, you're out of here. So, and if, you know, we have a strict policy, anybody who has a picture of like the anonymous in their profile, or you know, a picture of a masked guy, we just don't let anybody in like that, frankly. So we have like a unique qualification process, but we don't actually check out every single company, but we do. If somebody doesn't answer the questions well, we just don't even let them in. So
yeah. And why Facebook and not LinkedIn?
You know, to be honest with you, LinkedIn was just, I did not like LinkedIn at the time, and I just thought it was really hard to build a really solid community in LinkedIn, and I just picked Facebook because I felt like it was a better community. You could build a better community in Facebook. That's really the only reason. I didn't spend a bunch of time analyzing it. I just thought, you know what, Facebook is a good community. I already have a sum of connections on Facebook, so I'll just start it on Facebook. So,
and I mean, that seems to have played out to your favor, because still today it feels like LinkedIn is much more about the person and their profile than it is about kind of a brand and groups. The groups seem. Yeah. I'm a member of so many groups. I don't get any. There's just nothing going on. I don't know if I'm missing. I don't know if I'm missing out, but my suspicion is there's just kind of. It's not really a group place where groups kind of really hang out and are very powerful in the way they communicate with one another or support one another. So that it's amazing, isn't it, that people are having much more success on a Facebook group in a business context?
Yeah, it is. It is really fascinating. I never would have thought. I mean, I have lots of founders that say that they're only on Facebook because of the group. It's the only reason they go on to Facebook is to look at the group. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, so that tells me that, one, there's a huge demand for it, and second, I could probably put it on any platform that has a really good community aspect, and it would be good. Because we're starting a new kind of high-level group for SaaS growth hacks, and we're going to host that off of Facebook, because we don't want all the distractions of Facebook, but we still want people to be able to engage in the community, but we want to be a community all around SaaS, not with any of the distractions. But for SaaS growth hacks, it's great.
Can you tell us where you'll host that?
Yeah, I'm thinking of hosting it on Tribe.
Okay, never heard of it.
Yep. Neither had I until like last week, actually. But it's
Wow.
really, really good, really good community builder. It was either that or Mighty Networks, and I really like Tribe because it has a lot of elements that I really want: hidden communities and really good engagement platform and stuff. So yeah.
Can you show us? Can you show us that Tribe?
You mean the actual website or the community?
Oh, just whatever. Anything,
Well,
just so that we can kind of get a little sneak at it.
yeah, sure. You're getting a sneak peek into the into me signing up 3 days ago, and not really having anything in there. But I'm happy to show you. So let's tribe.so, and let's see. I actually haven't even.
Tell me where. Can I switch it in now?
Yeah, hold on, just 1 second. Let me.
Okay. This is exciting. Getting a sneak preview inside.
You're getting a sneak preview of something that I haven't even built out
this
yet.
This is like the most dramatic thing that's happened for 4 years for the global SaaS community.
Yeah.
How come you're bigger than SaaS Stock and SaaStra and all those guys? Just because you're focused on it and they're focused on other stuff?
That is a really good question. And I know that they I think everybody has a unique set of special skills, and those are live events. And live events are it's a different beast than creating a virtual online community. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And when I first started the community, I mean, I reached out to people individually and said thank you for joining. I reached out and when somebody commented on a post, I would reach out personally and say, hey, thank you so much for your comment. So it takes a lot of community management. It took a lot of time to do that.
And even now you've got staff, right, that are helping you run the groups.
Yeah, and I have really good admins too. Really, really good admins. Yeah. And so so that was really helpful too. All right, I got it open. If you want to take a look.
Okay. Boom. So I think this is where the MacBook from 2015 struggles with. Here we go. Can you zoom in a bit?
Yeah, hold on. Let me. Is it kind of small?
It is for me. I mean, that looks all right.
Let me see. Sorry, I need a.
Just try not to share us your password.
Yeah.
It's like the Bitcoin thing where someone shows their Bitcoin and their wallet gets ripped off.
Yeah, I do not want that to happen. All right, let's see. It's going really slow right now. Here we go. So we're going to have different groups like, 10K to 30K, 30 to 100, 100 to a million, million to 5 million. So we'll have different groups that people can communicate with. It's really cool because you can find, if you go to like all topics, there's going to be all these different types of topics that you can follow. And anytime there's a post on that specific topic, you can go in and you can actually see all the questions, discussion, blogs around a specific topic. We'll have things around growth. We'll have, funding, dev, all this really great stuff. And then we're going to add a wiki to it. Wow. So somebody can go to the wiki and they can search for, hiring and pull up all the content, all the discussions that around hiring. It's gonna be really cool. We'll have hot seats too. We'll bring on live founders and we'll go through their product. It'll be really cool. It's gonna be a really, really great community. I think it'll be even more valuable than SGH because we're gonna, we'll have a community manager managing it, and it'll be off Facebook, chat, so it'll be really cool.
And where you've got my group, so you got different, that's monthly recurring revenue groups, is that right?
Yeah.
15 to 20K. So was it 10 to 12? So
it's 30.
Are you?
Let me zoom in a little bit.
Oh yeah, and my eyesight's not.
Is this better?
But,
there we go.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, 10 to 30K. So will you have people will be assigned to a level based on where they're at, and they'll have their own little world, or people can sort of join different groups so they want different insights?
Yeah,
at different
they can
levels.
actually. It's a good question, and I really considered forcing people to go into the group that they're at. But what I didn't want was people that are in the 10 to 30K range not get access to the knowledge of the people in the million to 5 million range. So they can interact. Yeah. They can go to the group and they can look, but I mean, it's recommended for them not to make suggestions in that group, not really be involved unless they're in that stage. You know what I mean? So when we have people sign up, we're going to say, all right, like we'll have them sign a promise that says, we want you to interact with people in your own community, but please, don't, unless you have something really valuable, work within your own, your whatever stage that you're in the community that you're in, because that's where you can get the most help, right? So and this is a test. We'll probably end up testing things out too, but yeah. So a lot of these questions we're still trying to figure out what to do as far as how many different groups we're going to have, how often the hot seats, we're going to do like expert interviews, stuff like that.
Oh, and what I like about the idea of the questions and answers is that it becomes like a giant FAQ. And because I've been participating for about a month, I don't, when you join a group, I don't know if I'm typical, but I don't scroll back. I don't go back 4 years and see what people are talking about, because it's just Facebook's built for kind of like you're in the waterfall and stuff's coming at you. You're not really going into the archive. So this is this one of the great strengths, that it kind of builds this knowledge base that's much more accessible. Yeah.
So if you like, I don't have a bunch on this right now, but if you search like hiring or whatever, you could talk topic growth, and it pulls up all of the topics with growth. And I'm not sure. I think you can like organize them by how many comments, and you can organize them by question, discussion, post, or blog, which is really great. So like, and then what we'll probably end up doing is moving the best stuff we'll curate the best content into a wiki, like Doc 360 or something, where we can have where people can just search for topics and get the best stuff, so they don't have to search through the community. Yeah.
Wow. And be a little bit of upvoting as well, where people go, "This was awesome."
What do you mean?
Reply. Like, can you
upvoting? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So likes and comments. One really cool thing that I like is you can ask anonymously too. So
all right.
Because if you have a question that you don't really want,
that is awesome.
Yeah, you could say, we're at 10 million ARR and we just have this question, people can answer.
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and we can say, we don't know what we're doing, and people are like, well, sweet, you don't have to hurt your ego. You can ask pretty much any question you want.
without having to make up some fake ID.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of really cool. Yeah, exactly. And then here's the chat. It's pretty basic, but you can chat within this, and custom notifications. You get notified on certain posts, and so it's really like it's very similar to Facebook, but more designed for like your own special community, which is kind of what I've been looking for.
Do you want to take us over into Facebook and just for a moment, for those that aren't familiar with SaaS growth hacks, and feel free to put it in the comments. the link. Not sure if you did that. Right. And so what have been the things managing a community for 4 years? It's up at 22,000. Like, what are the secrets to just having that longevity and having the value keep kind of circling around for existing people? And I mean, you can't have much churn if you're at 22,000. So
I had a lot of churn at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. At the beginning, I had a lot of churn, but now much less. In fact, we probably kick more people out than people that leave on their own.
Yeah. So what are some of the secrets for you for running? Because you also help people create communities, and you'll probably be helping them create them either in Facebook or in Tribe going forward, right?
Yeah. I think it had a lot to do with, number one, it's super focused. I'm not building a community on internet marketing.
Right.
Okay. This is a community specifically for SaaS founders. I tell people, if you're starting a group for your product, that's fine. Start it for your product, but don't create a product group and expect that to be a big source of lead gen for you. Create a group around a specific niche or something super specific where you can actually go out and easily find members. Like if I had started a group around internet marketing, where do I even start with finding members to join an internet marketing group? But if I did it around HR companies, like HR hacks, I can easily get a list of HR companies and bring them into the group. And
what's one of the most successful SaaS company communities that you come across, where it's a SaaS business, they've started from scratch, they want to create a community, and they've taken a particular angle at it where they know exactly who they want in there, and it's serving a really great purpose that's complementing the business?
Yeah, good question. Let's see. If you look up programmatic advertising ad ops, this is one that's let's see. Yeah, this is actually a really good one. Programmatic advertising and ad ops professionals. So grouped by AdLib, which is the company name, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's specifically for folks that are doing programmatic advertising and ad ops. It's a smaller group, but engagement's pretty good. Pretty dang good for 2,000. And it's really specific around this topic, programmatic advertising and ad ops, not their product. It's brought to you by AdLib, which is the product name. And they've done a really good job. They've done a really good job building the community, especially when there's not a really good community for the people that you're building a community for. Man, it's one of the best offers that I have found is, hey, I know you don't know me, but I built a group specifically for people like you, and it's free. Would you like to join it? Like, right. That's a pretty dang good offer. So that's if you're doing any kind of
engagement, I could just relate it to this show. So I engaged you and said, do you want to come on my LinkedIn live show? And you're like, sure. And I said to somebody, well, that's the power of having a show, because there's something to come on to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you're saying the same thing. Like, here's an invitation to join something, to join a community, and it's in the field of your expertise. That's why I'm asking you, and you join, and it looks kind of cool. And it's like, oh, thank you. This is like the first stage of getting to know the person or the company behind the group. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
So simple.
It came very naturally to me, because I kind of what you want to do when you start a group is the first members of your group need to feel like they are giving the red carpet treatment. Like you need to build up, just like a SaaS, like you need to build a quality foundation of customers who are going to recommend you, right? And so when I first started, I reached out to each one individually. I said, hey man, thanks for your comment. When they joined, I said, hey, when they first joined, I sent them a message, I said, hey, this is Aaron. I'm founder of the group, SaaS Growth Hacks group. I noticed you joined. I would love for you to talk about your SaaS in the group. Tell us who you are and talk about your SaaS, right? I don't do that now because it's got out of hand, but
I got no love. I got no love. I mean,
yeah,
at 22,000 people.
Yeah, you joined too late.
Actually, I think I joined at 21,000, so it's at least, you know, I feel like I'm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when we got to like 3,000 or 4,000 is when it really started to pick up.
Yeah.
And that's when I stopped doing that. And the other thing is curation, man. Like I have a group of admins. Here's what's great, and they're all complementary to the service I provide. I have a guy who is who buys and sells SaaS companies, Thomas with FE International. I got a guy who does Facebook ads or a marketing agency for SaaS, and it's all in their best interest to keep this group as quality as possible.
Wow.
Right? They have a vested interest in keeping the group because they're all their customers, right? So they're deleting posts all the time, and they're kicking people out and left, and I have to let people back into the group because sometimes they kick people out that I want in the group. Yeah. So don't tell them that. If they're watching, if they're watching this, I'm ruining their own work, but they're so good at what they do because they have a vested interest in the community, and people just love, you know, having the ability. It's just a human innate desire to have control and power, and not that these admins are power hungry monsters, but like, you know, it feels really good to be able to say I'm a community admin for this group, you know, and I help keep it quality. And
you don't, I don't want you to tell me all the secrets, but I'm just curious. So because you've got this complementary curation and also kind of like knowledge, thought leadership cabal around the group, does that also keep the overheads down because you're not just, you know, you're not having to train people up because they know what they're doing. B, they have a vested interest, so they kind of, you know, that they want to be part of it, and you have some commercial relationship with them. Does that kind of play into the efficiency of running some of these groups?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have one assistant who I pay to kind of like, you know, let people into the group, to sync it with my active campaign, you know, to check all this stuff. But so I have someone doing a lot of the manual work, but as far as like the admin and curation, my admin team is they just love it. They do it for free. They do it for free.
Yeah, amazing. And it's so much value add for them. Like
so much value add,
both ways. And are they some of the guys that you do the live streams with inside the group?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. And guess what? Like when they say, "Hey, Aaron, can I do a live stream in the group?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, man."
Go for it.
because they've been admins in my group for a couple of years, right? I know they're good quality. I know they do good stuff. Because if you didn't, their name would spread like wildfire in the group, you know.
Right. Because it can see that they're listed as well as an admin when they comment and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and same with me. Like if I didn't. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. So should we go back to SaaS Growth Hacks because that's what we're talking about, and maybe zoom in a bit. Have you got it right there? Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, you were saying, oh, look at that guy.
Look at that. Look at that.
So, what you showed us before and what you were talking about now leads on to kind of perhaps the next thing is, what do you think is the most in getting customers, what do you in most SaaS companies, because you've seen a lot, what do you think the biggest, and you've got the heartbeat, it's like you're almost like inside Google search in a way for SaaS, aren't you? Because it's just like, what are all these questions people are asking? So what are for getting customers, what do you think the biggest pain point is? Because I know you have a kind of a three-pronged offer in there around getting customers, but what is the biggest pain point, do you think, for people?
So there's the pain they think they have, and then there's the pain that they actually have. And the pain that they think they have is, we need more users. We need to increase top of funnel. That's the pain that they think they have. What their real problem is they don't understand and know who their ideal customer is. I call it a dream customer, because really, everybody deserves to work with their dream customers. And what they think is, all right, we need to increase traffic, we need to get more traffic. And then the question I ask is, all right, great, who is your target? And we spend months working on just who their target is. And most are not super clear on their target. They've just done a lot of ads and a lot of content. They have a lot of traffic, and just by sheer volume, they're able to get users. And for some companies, their focus is entirely on the product, right? So I had a few clients who were app builders. Man, that's a challenge. Customer is really anyone looking for an app builder. Initially, that's the customer. So once they rank for app builder and they get all the traffic they can for app builder, now what? Now where do they go? You know, like how can you expand that market if you're getting most of the traffic for app builder? And then so we dial in.
I know where they go. They spam me on LinkedIn. Would you like an app built in Ukraine for only $20 an hour?
Yeah, exactly.
I get most of my spam is from app builders in far off lands.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, because they are desperate to find more customers and they don't know where to go. They just all they're doing is they're focusing on app builders, right? So when we worked with an app builder, we figured out, all right, one of the things we do initially, we have a product market fit challenge. I have a challenge to go through to figure out who your product market fit is and identify your dream customer. And the first step is going through your customers and figuring out who's been around the longest and who's paid you the most, and then finding out why. Who are they? What problem are they trying to solve? And then we do that with enough customers, and we find trends, and then we start niching down into specific verticals, or we look at horizontal problems, like no-shows, right? If you have no-shows to your hair salon appointment, you can solve that by getting an app and getting people to download the app, because then you get push notifications, right? So that becomes you start solving a problem for a specific market instead of focusing on your product. So that's the biggest challenge people have, I think, is not understanding their product market fit, and as a consequence of that, it's not knowing their CAC. I think, based on what I've hundreds, thousands of SaaS founders, that is the most important metric that you should be tracking, is your CAC. How much does it cost for you to acquire? Yeah. How much does it cost for you to acquire a customer? Because if you don't know those numbers, first of all, you'll never be able to sell. Second of all, you'll never be able to scale growth, because if you don't know your CAC, it either means that you aren't calculating it, or you just have never thought about calculating it, and your growth is organic. And so that's the first thing. And obviously there's conversion rates and retention and all that, but you can fix all that stuff once you can acquire customers at scale. So I think those are the two biggest things.
And when you're coaching people about customer acquisition costs, what do people miss? What do people miss when they go, I think I know, and it's this. And then you go, how do you work that out? And you go, oh, well, I I added up our ad spend, and like what's the most common kind of misconception about customer acquisition costs?
I think probably there's a few. For those that are tracking their CAC, one of the biggest things is not including costs for stuff like content, and not aggregating everything together. They just look at the salesperson, right? Like our CAC is,
Right.
we spend $50 on ads and we get a customer for $100, but they don't factor in the salesperson's time. They don't factor in how much time it costs to manage the ads. It's not just ad spend, right? So it's getting really granular on how much of time and resources and money is being spent to acquire a customer, instead of just looking at the ad spend. Ad spend doesn't tell you the whole story.
Do some people go the other way and they put too much loaded into the CAC? Should you be, are you separating out all of the operating costs of the business that shouldn't go into the tea and the coffee spend and the rent spend? And what's the line where you're not going to put it against CAC?
Yeah. So usually it's things that are usually there's static costs, and those don't change no matter what. And if it's a static cost, and it's not related specifically to growth, I usually don't include it. So like rent, internet, whatever, parties for the team. Like you have to draw the line at some point. If it's not a specific growth related activity, I don't usually include it in CAC. That just counts towards your expenses.
Yeah. And then what are you measuring CAC against? Are you trying to, I think you had a guy on probably one of your super admins talking about, was it CAC and lifetime value of the customer, and a kind of a ratio there? Do you measure it out against that, or what's the secret sauce when someone's got their CAC right?
It's usually it's about a 3-month payback time. So if you can acquire a customer for less than 3 months value, then you're usually in good shape. It takes you 3 months to recoup that investment, right? If it's longer than that, it becomes challenging to grow because you're waiting so much time to recoup your investment. So 3 months usually, and then from a CAC to LTV perspective, I can't remember. You're gonna have to watch that interview because it's really, really good. Just look for to grow because you're waiting. Search for it on the group. It's really good. I think you just search for clockwork, you'll find it. But yeah.
Cool. So you have any questions for me?
Yeah. So you are you deal a lot with enterprise level clients, right? What is the biggest mistake that you see when it comes to closing enterprise deals and getting enterprise deals?
People, I'm just putting your SaaS growth hack into the comment stream. I think the biggest issue is that people don't understand what they're talking into. So they don't understand how the hierarchy of needs works in the organization that they're selling to, and they don't understand that the person that's been asked to get the information from the end customer is kind of on a fishing trip, and their mindset, it's like, today, I'm looking at your SaaS business across 15 others, and I have about 20 minutes, and I have to put a report in with the top 3. So I'm going to like boom, boom, boom across here, and I'll look at the website, and maybe I'll schedule a demo, and then I'm going to go on that demo, and I'm going to make some recommendations internally. Well, you made the mistake of taking the demo booking with that person and telling them everything about the product because it's the latest and greatest thing in your mind. And you think that if you can explain everything about the product, then they will want to buy the product. What you failed to understand is that you shouldn't ever demo to that person. And you fail to understand that you shouldn't ever show them everything. And that, and now that you've, to use well, I just say it because this doesn't really mean anything. Like, you pulled down your pants, like there's nothing, you're just going completely naked and say, well, this is the price, this is the product, hey, and they just go, I don't know, versus, so what's going on, John? What are you looking for? What's happening with your buying process? Who's asked you to make this selection? Why do they care? So your division is actually evaluating it because this other division has asked for it. Well, why don't we get your boss and that boss over there and get them all on a call? Because if they're the ones that actually want it, they're the ones that are going to know what they're looking for. And if they can tell me what they're looking for, then I'll know what to show them. And then, no, you don't understand. I'm just doing a quick report and I have to get this done and you're being difficult. I know I'm being difficult, John, but I'm not going to show you shit unless you get these people to the demo. But, oh no, we're not going to work with you. No, that's fine. You go with something else that you think is better, and you can put on your report that you never saw our product. What are you kidding me? Just, I'm not being difficult. We just do a demo to the people that are actually making the decisions. It's just simple. No, we can't work that way. Okay, goodbye. Comes back later. They actually want to see your product. Can we do 2 o'clock on Tuesday? Sure. And then we start the beginning of the meeting talking about what they want to see, what's important to them. And that takes most of the time in the demo. As them talking, and then they're like, come on, can we just see it? Can we see it? Can we see it? And how much is it? How much is it? And then we just get through the demo, because what happens at that point? At that point, the buyer's minds are engaged. Can
you still hear? Can you still hear me? I think we lost you on audio. You're just getting the good stuff. Still can't hear you. No. You're just getting the good stuff, man. We apologize for the technical difficulty. We are working hard to get Simon back on the call. Can you hear me, Simon? I think so.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Which bit did I lose you at?
You lost us at their minds are engaged in the buying process.
Their minds are actually engaged in the buying process. Was before, their mind was nowhere near, the buying mind was nowhere near they were nowhere near engaged. They weren't even close to it. They just sensed someone on an errand. So now they're engaged, and now once you understand what they're really wanting, then it's a theater show. It's like, well, here's how we do this that you want, and here's how we do that you want, and here's how we do this that you want. Is there anything else you need? No, that's great. Okay, well, I won't show you the other 750 features that are in the product because we've fixed your problem, and this is the price. and send it over to you, and you'll let me know. And it's just that kind of approach.
That's really interesting. So is that a similar strategy to how you? What about when you're doing outbound then?
Oh, I hate outbound. Hate outbound. There's a guy in Poland that I had on last week that sounds like he's cracked outbound. He hires people like, Uber drivers have multitasking drivers. Well, he has multitasking after hours sales development reps that do outbound calls for SaaS companies on a platform, and you can pay per booked demo. I would rather market all day long and have them call than be trying to call around and engage. I just can't. I can't get with the outbound winning formula of what you say when you pick up the phone. And so I think it's just probably the hardest thing, I think, in the whole process. I'd much rather focus on how do we get these people to call? How do we get them? I mean, what you said about the Facebook group, I would rather call and say, hi, would you like to be part of a Facebook group for your professionals? It's new. We do, weekly sessions. It's really great. There's 1,000 people in it. It's just a personal invitation. Oh yeah, that'd be great. And then you send them an email and it says something about your company as a byline to here's the Facebook group link. I think that would be a great start. I wouldn't mind kind of engaging on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you what suggestions do you have for follow-up after the demo, after the lead?
So I should probably ask you about the outbound, because that's something you do, right? The follow-up's really key. Like there's one adage that turned around this business that we're in, selling board portals to customers, and it was fix the business, fix the follow-up. And meaning that you've got all of this business coming in. I think that's why the outbound thing became kind of, for me, more about you got people coming into your world, and you've engaged with them somehow, and the mind tends to go to, oh well, I didn't, they fobbed me off and they said they'll let me know in a couple of months, or they said they're not sure, and then our mind as salespeople goes to who's next versus we've got to really make sure this is a watertight situation, and we're going through systematically. So one of the best things is a weekly report that just says, this is what I closed this week. These are the customers. This is what I'm going to close next week. These are the big deals I'm working on. Because I think what that does, it gets you out of the CRM and into kind of like a Google Sheet environment, and you have to go and actually think about what you're going to commit to. What I find in the CRM world is that it's so easy to just go, I'll push that out 3 months, or push that one out, that one out. And the person who's actually doing the selling, you sort of you're fudging stuff in a murky world where the only way it's going to get detected what you've decided you're going to commit to is by someone running some report and doing some forensic analysis and going, hey, Simon, that deal that was going to close last week, you just pushed that out 3 months. What's with that? And you sort of, so we did this sort of surface reporting where you actually put it into a spreadsheet, and you send it off on a Friday night as a declaration, and it's always on your mind through the week. Like, what am I committing to next week? Like, what of this am I actually going to sign? And how did I do in my performance? So I think those sorts of simple weekly tools help the follow-up, because you for a start, you're looking at, oh my God, I said I was going to sign this week. It's a public commitment into your internal organization. So you're driven to focus on that stuff, but it's probably, I think, the number one tool for just having your mind on all of those customers that you've engaged with and how you're going to move them all forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there a tool that you recommend for that, or is it just?
I've got a Google Sheet that I give out
Really?
to my customers. Yeah, Google Sheet template. Yeah, because it's just the easiest, I think, and especially in the CRM world, it's. I can share it with you, but I think, in the example of where you've done a great demo and you've given out pricing, I wait and 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 I wait. And then when it feels like there's the benefit of that is that there's a sort of a respect going on, particularly when it's an enterprise customer, that you understand that things at their end are going to take time. And you understand that there is 0 point kind of like, hey, how's it going with that email I sent you with our pricing after that great demo? There's people don't want that. They want to take all that information and put it through the internal mill of getting it approved and all of that. So I wait long periods of time, but then there's a certain point where that maybe nothing's happening now. And so then I will reach out and get in touch. And usually it's just a soft email, just, hey, how's that going? To just kind of, stimulate some response. And then there are the people that what will happen sometimes is that there'll be people in the kind of either the maybe bucket or the no bucket for a particular reason. And I'll just kind of comb through that and go, I've got a new angle with that. And I saw this article because they're worried about security or something, like, boom, here's something about cloud and security. Thought you might be interested, related to the conversation we had when you weren't sure whether you get approval for this with your IT team, and remember, we can do a security call anytime. And those are very effective because you've gone back in on a particular angle to try and solve one of their internal hurdles. And they're grateful because a lot of people this is the other thing, you can convince people to buy and then they just get blocked by their own organization. So you're trying to help them through that.
Yeah, makes sense. Love it.
Tell me about your outbound, because this is.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. Outbound sucks.
Yeah.
It's the worst if you do it the wrong way. I figured out a way to do it. It's really fun. I figured out a totally different way to do it. It's like super fun and way worth your time. It's an idea I got from Chet Holmes in the book called The Ultimate Sales Machine.
Right.
And combined with a little bit of how Russell Brunson does it, and then a mentor of mine, Dana Derricks. Essentially, the strategy is you go out and you do outbound with your top 100 dream partners, and you build a partnership relationship with them that gets your product in front of their audience.
Wow.
So, and the fun part includes direct mail and video, and like you are really, really targeted on the people that you want to go after. And when you do get one of the relationships to work out, you automatically get hundreds or thousands of eyeballs on your product from someone who they trust. You know what I mean? So it's leveraging their audience. It's being intentional on who you go after. It's really understanding who your dream customer is so that you can say I can actually help. I can really 100% help your customers I'm
Yes.
not sending this out to everyone. I'm not sending this out to 5,000, 10,000 LinkedIn people. Like, we've picked you because we know we can help. Let's hop on the phone and chat, and we'll give you the product for free just to make sure that it's a good fit, right? That's kind of the angle. And we keep reaching out until we get a yes or a no from them. And it's a lot of fun because
Wow.
because it's a totally different way of thinking about it, right? We're more confident in who we approach. The messaging is fun. We have a whole cadence that we send out for like 2 weeks, and it's we're written by like a professional copywriter who did this for a living. So it's my favorite way of doing outbound. I'm not a huge fan of cold calling people.
Yeah.
Because you end up saying, hey, if you got this problem, great. If you don't, that's okay too. I'm just seeing if you have this problem. And it's a waste of time, really.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to scale fast. So instead, go after lists of people who have your ideal customers who you can build a partnership with.
Yeah. Did you say top 100 partners?
Yeah, or more.
So you encourage SaaS businesses to get 100 partners?
No, you make a list of 100 partners. There's only a few that are going to say yes.
But you might approach a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And when I say partners, I don't mean like integrations with each single one, which is actually not a bad idea to integrate with as many of your partners as possible, but people that can recommend your product to their audience. I would 100%, if I was a SaaS, I would much rather have 100 of people promoting my product to their audience than get 100 new customers.
Right. So people are not focused on that. Yeah. So what is it? It's a marketing partner in a way.
Yeah. And you're going after complementary services.
Yeah.
Where your product makes their customers have more success with their product. So there's an incentive for them to do it. A good example is like, if I'm an invoicing tool, right, for SaaS companies, or for coaches and consultants, what is a tool that I can promote to my audience that will have my customers have more success with my invoicing tool? And maybe that's a sales training, right? Or a sales, like a CRM SaaS. So I have no problem if I'm an accounting software recommending, hey, if you need to get more sales, if you want to send out more invoices, here's a tool that we partner with that you can use. They integrate with us, blah, blah, blah. So that's one example. And you can integrate with, you have dozens of partners that recommend your tool in different complementary service niches.
Wow. That's so powerful, isn't it? But because as you said, suddenly it's about what are we going to send out, together, the partner that I'm getting engaged with, and it's their mailing list, and no, they are sending it though, right?
Yeah, and they're sending it, but you can say, hey, let's do an AMA for your invoice customers. I'll talk about how to get more sales. Let me do a blog article for you so we can, can I be an admin in your Facebook group?
Right.
And I'll take care of your Facebook group so that, you just understand who your partner is and give them what they need as far as value. And you build that relationship, and eventually, if you have everything set up correctly, if you make it easy for them, you can say, hey, would you like to promote this? It's a free this or a free that, or I'll give you guys a 30-day free trial, and I usually only give 14 days. I'll treat your customers like gold. Plus, I'll give you a commission of everything that comes through. In addition to helping your customers get more value from your service, we'll give you some commission. So when you put all that together, if you just do one of the pieces, it doesn't work. You have to combine all the pieces together to make it really work.
Right.
Yeah.
And what are some of the results that you've seen come out of that?
Oh man, we have SaaS. We have companies that have built their entire product just on partnerships.
Right.
They don't I mean, we have, oh man, it's amazing. We have clients that, will get, they're doing one-to-one sales, like a landing page builder, right? They're doing one to one to one, and finally they sign an agency that signs up that wants them to use their product with all their customers, and like boom, they add 100 accounts. Like in the time that it took them to add 50 one-on-one accounts, now they've added 100 accounts right off the bat. We have another client, and he sells food safety management software. Food safety management for restaurants, like thermometers that go on the inside of your freezers to know, like how the temperatures. And there's consultants who help restaurants build a successful restaurant, and he's going after these consultants and saying, hey, we have a tool that really help your customers have more success. And they're like, brilliant, this is awesome. We don't solve this problem. We want to partner with you. So it's exciting. It's really exciting. And you talk to some SaaS companies and they don't even know they're doing it. All they know is they keep signing up people that want to promote their product, and they're just like, this is interesting. Like, this is a cool, angle to take, but they don't pursue it because it almost feels like cheating. You almost feel like you're cheating. That you should have to go after clients one by one and grind that grindstone and get clients one-on-one when there's an easier way to do it, but it feels like it's cheating. It feels like it's cheating.
Well, there's also an art, isn't there? Because you're going, the more lateral that you can kind of think and who those potential partners are, that's kind of just to get them on paper and look at them and go, yeah, that could really work. Like, what if they were? I really like that approach because I'm a big fan of people tapping into what could really be good for a partner that they don't quite know it yet, and you come up with the proposal and they're like, we could look kind of up with the play, and you could pick some really antiquated traditional kind of businesses who might really, really, really want your they might want to look to be associated with your product.
Yeah.
For what it represents, right? The new technology, the new innovation, a better way to do things.
Absolutely. And it makes them look better because, like you said, they're integrating or they're partnering with someone with advanced technology. And if their customers ever end up using the software, they get more success, or their tool or service or whatever it is, they have more success with their product. It makes them look better too. I mean, it's a win-win for every party. And it's such an incredible strategy once you have all the pieces put together, that outbound now becomes this game where you start to think, how many partners can I get in different industries that I can help them provide more value to their customers?
Which comes down to the product market fit, the ideal customer, because once you nail that, you can't go into this without knowing your ideal customer, right?
Yeah, because you can find accountants that work specifically with coaches or HR agencies. But if you don't know you're going after HR agencies or HR departments or whatever, you're going to be struggling. But once you figure that out, the possibilities are not limitless, but man, they're pretty dang close.
Yeah. I'm doing a session with 3 hospitality technology SaaS businesses, an actual live thing tomorrow morning, and one of the big themes is just that in an industry where they don't just grab technology the way some industries do, the hospitality industry. It's about kind of making them aware of the table stakes that are like, the technology is just the table stakes. You've just got to be on the latest stuff, and SaaS is good on so many different levels, and it's like a health check in your business, because you don't know what's around the corner. That if you didn't have the SaaS in place, you'd be able to take advantage of that. Like, you just got to get into the swing of plugging it all in and having a SaaS estate, And then one of the big things is like, how many people are in these businesses, and are they? And so I'm talking to these guys, and they're like, oh, 10, 20 staff, not massive establishments. I said, well, why don't we can staff use their phones to access your product? And they're like, oh yeah, they can all use their phones. I like just the thought of these 10 to 20 supercomputers for free in your establishment, and you're thinking the SaaS is expensive, like or it's too much work, like all the people just bringing all this computing power to work every day, and they're not even plugging it into the whole brain.
Yeah.
No, they'll save money and have a crappy old laptop, crank it up, try and log in like my one.
Yeah.
Crashes, and everybody's got to crowd around one laptop, to do their work. Yeah.
Yeah.
You picked a good category, didn't you, when you dove into SaaS?
I did. Yeah. It's an emerging market. It's like the wild west out there. It's such an attractive business model. So many intelligent people coming in and creating great products, solving really good problems.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. It's such a great industry to be in right now. And on both sides, either creating a SaaS, working with SaaS companies, helping them grow. There's just so much opportunity, and I'm not even scratching the surface for like being able to help all these companies. Like there's just so much need out there for good people to come in and help them grow. Yeah.
Do you feel like I also feel like as the companies that are massive today, they I've seen it happen with companies that I've been involved with, and I see it out there in the wider world, that as they grow and they get bigger, they start developing more blind spots that they didn't have when they were kind of younger and more nimble. So it's kind of like these I can imagine we haven't really seen massive SaaS companies kind of falling over. They just seem to just get more and more revenue, bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, like the giant trees in the forest. And but I can see that there could come a time. I can certainly see that there's a way to take their lunch, and I think that's quite exciting too. It's not that because there's a certain approach where you go, oh, well, that's a massive market that's already been taken, and I think that the areas that people go after is fascinating to me. I just like some of the comments in the group. I've just started a CRM, and I'm just thinking, why? Why would you start a CRM? Like, why is that a good idea? I just started a CRM in 2020. That's the most confused, crowded. It's such a difficult space to sell into. Company decision making around CRM so weird. I've got to buy Salesforce, or I've got to buy HubSpot because of blah 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 blah. And it's just, why would you go into that field when there's like a million other things that haven't been tapped?
I agree. I know a lot of founders that just go in, they see a big market, and they say, I can build a better mousetrap, and they build a better mousetrap, and then they figure out, okay, now how do I sell it? And that is so that strategy can work, right? It can work, especially if there's a really upset part of the market that's desperate for another solution because you're feeling a hole, right? But man, I would absolutely do a CRM. The only caveat is that, first of all, I would have to validate a market in which a CRM for that specific market doesn't exist, and
A
where there's a
specific,
huge demand
yeah,
for it.
yeah, I can see that.
Like a CRM for roofing companies,
Right,
specifically designed for roofing companies. Now, I'm not saying that's the right market, but
right. You think that could work?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because there's
I
no CRM for roofing companies, and you can go build a list of roofing companies, and you can say, hey, here's the problems we solve for you. And people are really desperate because of the amount of solutions out there. People are so desperate for a custom solution for them. That's what they want more, is a personalized solution. That's what we're getting to, and that's why AI is such a big thing, is because the promise of AI is that we can build, you sign up and our AI will build something custom for you based on what you need and your requirements, right? That's what AI is. It's solving that customizability issue. But you don't need to have AI. You can just go. And I agree with you. There's so many problems. The biggest issue is finding problems. That's where people really, really lack, is going out and identifying and finding big problems that need to be solved.
Do you
That
do anything?
is.
Do anything in that arena? Because it strikes me that like I'm of the same opinion. Like, yeah, it strikes me that there's a good service in helping people find a niche,
Yeah.
develop a product market fit. Right? Do you ever
Yeah.
do anything? Do you ever do anything in that realm?
Absolutely. We do it all the time for companies that already have a product.
Yeah, but do you think there's a benefit in like?
I think there's a benefit. The problem is that usually at that stage, there's little or no revenue for those companies.
Yeah.
So, the
That's
amount of effort that I would put in, or someone else
Yeah.
would put into helping them identify product market fit or find a problem. There's actually a really, really good, man. I can't remember the name. I think it's called like the Academy or something. Dane is the guy's name, and his whole program was, come to us in 90 days. We'll help you find a problem. We'll help you find a developer. We'll help you build a SaaS product, and then help you sell it. That was his USP. Yeah.
That was cool.
And it was like, 30, 50 grand to do that. But yeah, like there is a need for that if someone has the funds or funding.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the way it should work. That's the way you should do it. Find a problem first and then go build a product. Don't build a product and then go find your market for it. That's the hard way to do it, an expensive and dangerous way.
Yeah, and I think the best companies, the best young companies, are the ones that have a unique perspective where they can see a problem that other people can't see. And that's what if you go to these investment events, there's always someone, what if Google wants to eat your lunch? It's like, but if you've got the right thing, it's like, why would they? And it's not even on their radar. And
Yeah.
It's just like, this pool is perfect for us to go after. It's not perfect for the big guys to go after. Like, there's not even, it's a rounding error in their business. And
yeah, exactly.
But I like it when I see something that someone's seen in the market, and it's just like immediately you're going, that's a winner. If you can, because if you don't have, we talk about the original intent in my training, right? So if you don't have, you actually have to come back to that original intent for the business, which is product market fit. We're going to do this and solve this problem. If that intent hasn't got the legs, no amount of capital or rock star developers is going to turn that into something great.
Yeah.
You just can't. You go back to that intent and go, well, maybe we need a new intent. Maybe we need a whole new thing. and that's another breaking point for people, is that they don't have the courage. They either run out of capital and vision at the same time. It's like, but actually the intent was great, or they just got, and the intent needs a refresh. They need to go back and question the original founding principle on why we started this thing. Is it still actually valid? Is it still got legs? Is there still a kind of an economic gap where people were going to somehow reward us for all this effort that we're going to pour our lives into?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, look, it's been great talking, Aaron. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. And we will look forward to seeing more in SaaS growth hacks and continuing the conversation.
Yeah. If you join, make sure to say hi.
Yeah, you won't get the elaborate Aaron.
Yeah, but you might get a like from me, which
a like
that.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So has anyone got your account controls that they can reply on your behalf?
Yeah, my assistant does, but
yeah,
she doesn't really do that often.
Right.
I interact mostly. So if you do get a comment from somebody, it's usually me. If it's from me, it's usually me.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for enlightening us.
My pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Simon.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thank you. See ya.